Hey guys, it's Sarah from Maine Garden Travels. Welcome back. I have not been up to the farm in probably 5 or 6 days, and we've had a lot of rain this week, and so everything has gone wild. It's kind of like an episode of Gardens Gone Wild in the back behind me here. So we have a lot of harvesting to do today, and we're gonna take you along. Brought the girls along with me today. I am going to need some help getting this harvest done because it would take me probably a couple hours by myself. So Hazel is going to start with the cherry tomatoes. And Violet is going to start with the Romas.
Whoa, what's a Roma?
Let's get started. This is our first year having any success with watermelon. And if you can see, this guy here is about the size of my hand. We picked one, and when we opened it we were very disappointed, and since then I've done my research and found that we need to wait until it dries off the vine before we pick it. So we're gonna let that one grow a little bit longer. And here's some watermelon in here, another one back there. And the thing about watermelon is our season in Maine, we're in zone 5B, it's very short. So we need to hopefully get some warmer days and get these guys finished growing. Patty pan squash. This is a kind of a deformed looking patty pan, but I'm taking it. We did do a bunch of garden cleanup the last time we were here. I pulled up some Magda squash that didn't look like it was doing too well, and ended up finding some vine borers. This one is not doing well either, and actually not producing anything anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and give that a pull. And yeah, that just came right out of the ground. Super easy. I don't see any vine borers in that one, but I'm sure that they were also a culprit. One of my favorite things about gardening is flowers. I used to mainly only do flowers in my gardens at home. And now I'm learning that the more flowers you have, the better, because it just brings in the bees. So I've found that my favorite are these zinnias. They're giant zinnias. I made the mistake again that I made last year, which was planting them in rows next to each other. And as you all know, if you do that, the tomato plants get huge and it becomes impossible to walk between the rows. So I send my tiny little girls in between the rows, and they can pick all the ones that are ready to pick. What happened to this guy, and who was nibbling it? Gross. We'll get rid of that right now. People always say things like, oh, you're so good to garden, you know, how do you do it? How do you find the time to have a garden that size? Why not just go to the farmer's market? Why not just go to the grocery store? And the reason we do it, well, there are multiple reasons, but some of them are just that it brings us sheer joy when we see something like this sunflower, which has grown taller than our greenhouse. It is about, a 13-foot sunflower. And that right there just brings me enough joy to last the day. And one of the main reasons actually that we're focusing on gardening this year, well, and in recent years past, all of the information going around about you know, pesticides in food, and I've seen on Facebook this week pesticides being found in cereal, and it's so sad. And I am raising 2 little girls who I want to be as healthy as possible. Stories that you hear of people having cancer and that sort of thing for no apparent reasons. You know, they've lived a healthy life. They've, you know, done everything that they should, and yet they still get cancer. And there's got to be reasons behind that. And so if I can do anything to change our health and to keep us healthy, it is a good thing. So I figure that the best way to do that, or the way that I have the most control, is to do that through organic gardening and eating as much fresh produce as possible, and introducing my kids to vegetables and things that their friends have not eaten and don't know the names of. I'm not sure if my older daughter, who is 9, I'm not sure if all of her friends can identify a tomato even that grows in a garden. They may be able to identify it in a grocery store, but they don't recognize certain things in the garden that is alarming. We started this bin off as a worm compost bin, and one very rainy day I came out because it was full of water and I had a cover on it, but I went to dump some of the water into a watering can so I could feed some vegetables, some worm compost tea, and the whole thing dumped on the ground. So I basically left it here out of frustration. And since then we've had this little frog who's decided to move in, and he has been there for weeks. And we're just gonna let him be. Maybe when he moves out we'll get to use the water that's in there to garden, but until then it's his home. So the girls tell me there's tons to pick inside the greenhouse. So we came in for a hot minute, literally hot. It's
Oh, there's a ton of tiny orange tomatoes.
got to be a good 110 degrees in here at the moment. And surprisingly, our tomatoes outside have matured faster than the ones inside the greenhouse, which got a really good head start. But I don't know, I guess they like something outside better than inside. So we'll keep that in mind for next year.
Wow,
Careful up there.
they're so tiny. Wow, they're so tiny.
So we're still in the greenhouse, and this random squash grew in here this year, and it looks like it might have a little powdery mildew. But I hadn't even been paying attention to it. But all of a sudden I noticed, ta-da! Where did you come from? Alrighty, that butternut squash is not quite ready yet because it's still a little white. I like to wait and let it turn a little yellow, but boy, is that a big squash. And the pumpkin next to it ain't too shabby either. I think I see our first bell pepper of the year. Ta-da! And boy, was it ready to come off. So here is a definite plant with a vine borer situation. It was a zucchini that never actually grew any fruit, but you see inside that hole, that is a plant ruiner. I thought that our cucumbers were almost done for the year, but they just keep growing and they're hiding on me. It's about a foot long right there. But then I found this one, and I found this one, and I found this one. These are, you can see them, my indigo rose tomatoes, and they have been black for a long time, but they've finally started to turn red. So it's just, you can see this one here is still green, so still too early to pick. But some of them are finally ready. It took a long time for these guys. All right, so we are a hot mess. We've been out here for a couple hours, and I think that the girls are melting. And actually, we have a wedding to attend this weekend, so we are gonna go home and make ourselves presentable, and we will see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Don't forget to subscribe.